This video is powered by Ugreen. Ever wonder why your pocket camera footage never looks cinematic? You're probably rushing into the grade like it magically gets you that movie-like shot. But it's the worst thing you could do. And I know because I've made the same mistakes in the past. So in this video, I want to share 4 color grading secrets that most people ignore, and I'll help you understand why each one works and how you could use it to make your pocket camera footage look more expensive. We're going to be using the Osmo Pocket 4 D-Log footage, but this should apply to most pocket cameras and phones out there with log capabilities. Stop adding colors way too much. Pocket cameras already have enough colors after you convert it properly using Color Space Transform in DaVinci Resolve or using the free manufacturer's conversion LUT. The problem is most people add saturation way too much, but actually the best way to color grade is to kind of take away colors. Instead of adding saturation, let's desaturate certain colors. By this, we are still lifting the other colors by suddenly pulling back the distracting colors or colors we don't want to be overpowering the image. Do you see the difference? Intentionally desaturating these certain colors looks way cleaner and a lot more manageable in post than adding so many colors, tint, or saturation. The common theme here is control. The less chaos you have in your image, the easier it is to create something intentional. The same thing applies to my editing workflow and how I organize and store all my footage. And this is where Ugreen comes in. I'm using the DXP 4800 Pro in my setup, and it's like having your own private cloud server at home. All of my files live in one place on a storage that I actually control, especially now with so many conversations around data privacy and how files can be used by companies to train AI models. It also has the speed and power I need for video work, with an Intel Core i3 processor, 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM, plus 10 GB and 2.5 GB Ethernet ports for faster transfers. And because it connects to my computer like a massive shared drive over network through SMB, for a lot of my 4K projects, I can work directly from the NAS instead of constantly copying files back and forth. It supports up to 144 terabytes of storage, and if I need to add more drives later, the toolless drive trays and the guided setup make it feel as easy as pulling out a drawer. So whether you're archiving years of footage, working on multiple edits, or sharing files with a team, the Ugreen DXP 4800 Pro is a really solid way to build a cleaner storage workflow. If you're interested, check the link down below to save up to $300 with Prime Day sales. Secret number 2 is color splice and shifting colors. In DaVinci Resolve, we have the color splice panel. There are 2 things that I love about this. One is color density, which makes your colors more rich and, dare I say, cinematic, and you can easily shift colors in here. Let's say you're wanting to change the color of a shirt. You're gonna add a mask. We want to shift the colors of the shirt, and then we're gonna go to color slice, and from here, you can see how powerful it is. It just changes the color of what you have selected. You can do this with Magic Mask. You can track it with power windows. Let's add a new node, and I'm just gonna create a quick mask for illustration purposes. And we're gonna try and not get my lips because it's in the tone of red. And then color slice, again, with red, we can just shift the colors how much we want. We can have it as a blue-green shirt, purple shirt. You know, it's a powerful tool to use. And another thing I like with the color density is adding that density right here. So it gives us a little bit more richer color. This is before, this is after, this is before and after. It just gives it a little bit more oomph and deeper, richer colors. Bonus tip, if you have a female subject or model, you can actually mask out their lips and add a bit of pop, just like you added a lipstick or a lip gloss for them. To do this, easy, right? Just do this, power window, make sure it's small enough for the lips, and then we're just gonna make it this and make sure that there's a gradient, the soft gradient around the power window. And then from here, we just add the saturation right there, right there. And you can see that it's like kind of a little bit out. So we're just gonna make it a little bit smaller. And then from here, you can just track that power window so that it moves with the subject. And then maybe we'll change it to pinkish. That's better. Another cool little tip is that sometimes the eyes need pop. So we'll desaturate the white part of the eyes and brighten a bit to make those eyes look more dazzling. I used to shoot for beauty brands before, and this is how I would make their models shine in the video. We do this right here, and then make sure we use the shape of it, and then we'll turn it off. And then here we can just use the color boost. Maybe -8 is good. Color boost takes away the little speckles of pixelated colors within that space, and now it's in the white. We can bring up the brightness so we have that sparkle, or at least clean eyes. And whenever people are looking at the subject, they're like, wow, it makes your subject look a little bit more pleasing. Take it out right there. And if we look, the lips and eyes, take it out. Secret number 3, cinematic contrast. Cinematic contrast is achieved by compressing the highlights and slightly lifting the shadows. With log footage, we have enough dynamic range, so I tend to expose to the right. That means we're just kind of overexposing a little bit to get more details in the shadows. And then in post, I bring the highlights down. Here, we're gonna use curves and 3 dots, make sure the editable splines is enabled. And then we have 2 points right here, which is the highlights and your shadows. From here, you can now see this is the editable splines. Like this, we can now kind of move this curve as much as we want in a gradual way. So, you know, curves, right? To start with, we're gonna bring it down because we want those highlights to be recovered. Now it's in the faded zone. See this handle right here? We're just gonna bring this up parallel to these horizontal lines. So we bring back the punch. It's a little bit too much right here, okay? And then we're gonna go with the shadow point. Since the shadows are lifted, it's way too lifted, we're gonna give it back its contrast, which is this. I like that. Parallel to the horizontal line. It's good enough because this is a hard contrast scene. We have shade, shadow right here, and we have bright daylight hitting the road and the streetcar. And that's it. And that is the cinematic contrast. This is another good example because right now the highlights are blown out for low light scenes, for night scenes like this. So editable splines, we're just gonna make sure that we are gonna get the contrast we want. Since this is a night scene, you can tell that the shadows are crushing. So we're just gonna lift that up. Before and after, before and after. It just smoothens out the blacks, the shadows to the midtones. So it's a little bit more pleasing to the eyes. And then we're gonna do the same with the highlights because these are overexposed, right? Like we can bring it down here and you can kind of see that it smoothens out everything together and it's a lot more pleasing. So this is the converted footage, and with the cinematic contrast, it just gives you a little bit more smoothness in there. So if we just bring out the contrast with the contrast slider, our highlights is still blown out. With the curves, everything is gradual. Everything has punch, but still, it's gradual from making that contrast from the shadows to the midtones to the highlights. This is why I prefer using the curves in terms of adding contrast and adjusting exposure as well. And there's a bonus tip, that is adding film grain. Adding film grain makes everything look smoother in post. That means if there's a hard contrast between light and shadows, film grain makes it smoother. It also makes the image a little bit more organic rather than the typical digital look. For film grain, I usually use the Enhancer, but the built-in film grain from editing softwares like Premiere Pro, Final Cut, and DaVinci Resolve are good enough. So if there's a 35mm option, that's where I would start and tweak it to my liking. Secret number 4 is adding character. This is to branch off from our film grain bonus, which is adding some character to your footage so it doesn't look like it comes from a tiny pocket camera. Aside from film grain, I love adding a slight chromatic aberration on the corners of my image to make it a little bit like I'm using a vintage lens. Since we can't change the lenses on these cameras, this is kind of like a little cheat code to get there. You can add a prism blur or play with the RGB channels and displace them and mask them so they just appear in the corner. You can also add glow or halation to add more character, but add them subtly or else it'll look way too much and you don't want that. I mean, you could, but the goal is to make it look more expensive, intentional, and not overbearing. So let's add some visual character. We're gonna look for glow. And then we're just gonna try, oh, there it is. That looks nice. Okay. And then spread, we are gonna make it a little bit lower. So it's coming from the lights, the highlights. And then it brings up the exposure a little bit. So we're just gonna adjust that with the gain. And then the gamma should be the one making it bloom right there. So this is before and this is after. And then with this one, we can add halation as well. So we're just gonna bring the strength down because we already have the glow. Another thing that I like doing is prism blur right here. Right now it's a little too much, so we're just gonna bring down everything, right? So we're gonna go aberration strength as 1, and then aberration distance is here. So you can kind of see what is happening here, right? So this is without anything. And then if we add that aberration distance, it gives you a prism blur, chromatic aberration right there. But we don't want to apply this to the whole image. So we're going to do a power window and make sure that I'm going to apply a power window, make sure that we just apply it in the corners right here. Is out, invert it. So now it's only on the corners. Right now it's a little too much. So we're gonna bring it to maybe 5. That's good. And this is our final shot. I also did the same with an outdoor footage. And this is with everything. This is without, this is with, this is without, this is with. Likewise with this one. Added a little bit of a glow in there with halation, with the prism blur, and it just gives it a little bit more life, a little bit more organic rather than your digital look. And that's it. Those are the 4 color grading secrets and plus bonus tips that will help you achieve better results with your pocket cameras or phones. Adding way too much color and start taking away colors. Shift colors to your advantage, create a cinematic contrast, and add visual character. This probably works on any camera as long as you have shot and exposed everything properly. If you have any questions about anything we've covered, let me know in the comments down below. If you like my colors and want your edits to look like a movie, everything is on my website, but until then, I will see you in the next video. Peace.